So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Quintel Samuels, better known as Q the Comedian.
Where you from?
Pennsylvania. Yeah, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the capital. Harrisburg is like a major combination of both because it's supposed to be city, but like that's where all the farmers come to.
How'd you end up in Arizona in AZ?
Uh, so last or year before, my house burned down and we wanted to restart, and I was like, I don't want to restart here. I don't feel like I can get everything I want out of life here. So let's just leave and go somewhere else. And then I took my family, we went to New York. Everybody lived with their mom. And I was like, dang, like you 40 something, you never moved out of your mom's house? I didn't want that for my kids. So she was like, let's go to Georgia. And we went back home because this is right before it burned down. And as soon as we got back, we were there for like a week and the house burned down. And her birth dad lived here. I found him online because she was adopted. I found her dad and he was like, I would love to meet y'all. We packed up and moved out here. Stayed with him for a couple months and got our own place.
So the house burning down was kind of like a sign.
Yeah, because it was the second time in 5 years. First, my mom moved into town. She stayed with me, and like I was trucking and telling jokes. And my mom was like, she wanted to cook for me or something, and she forgot about it and went upstairs because I had an upstairs living room. And next thing you know, that house was on fire. That one was crazy. I was asleep, and all I hear is my wife running in the room, and she has my son in her arms. She's like, the house is on fire. You gotta get up. And I'm like, nah, that ain't what she said. I'll turn over because I worked all night. I don't got time for this playing. And she come back, and this time there's like a cloud of smoke came in, and I see her jump down all the stairs, and I don't have nothing on, and I can't see nothing. So I just grabbed whatever was next to the bed and like ran outside. There was a police officer there, so I ran straight to the cops' car because I'm naked, and the police officer, she won't even look at me. She's just looking straight, and she's like, I can't let you in here. And I'm like, lady, I'm naked. Ain't this a crime? I wouldn't even care if you arrested me right now. And like the cop really wouldn't let me in her car. But these strangers, they came up and they was like, would you mind getting in our car? I know it's kind of weird, but I know you don't want to be out in the street, literally asked out. And I was like, thank you. And I sat in there, and then I had freaking smoke inhalation problems. So yeah, that second fire set told me it's about time to go.
So it was in the house. It was you, your wife, your mom, and I'm assuming the kids. Was there any?
In the first fire, yeah, it was me, my wife, my mom, and at that time we just had 2 kids. And then in the second one, my mom, she wasn't there anymore. You know, she had her own place. It was just me, my wife, and 4 kids, and their room was on fire. That was crazy. We were in that fire for an hour.
Wait, what? You were in it for an hour? So did everybody survive that fire?
Everybody survived.
Okay, so
luckily, it was crazy. She went to give one of my kids a bath for school, and she looks through their playroom, and you can see the back porch is on fire. And she comes to me, she's like, the house is on fire. I'm like, the house is on fire again? I jump up out of bed, and I see that the back porch is on fire, but my neighbors are like, they put out the couch I had on my back patio. They put the couch out. And I'm thinking that was it. And then people just start banging at my door. And they're screaming about this fire still going on. So we get the kids. We start try to grab what we could and run outside. Then she went to tell my next door neighbor that our house was on fire. And as I get the last kid to go out of their room, the back window to the playroom explodes and comes in. Then my kid's ceiling falls in, and I jumped down the steps with two of my sons in my arm. It was crazy. And then with it being the second time, we kind of knew like what to grab, but it was still crazy because the first time my kids were at school, I think, but my oldest daughter was at school, and the other one was a baby, but all the kids were there for that, and it was like a lot of night terrors they went through. I just couldn't keep them seeing the same stuff, and they always wanted to go by the house, and then they would just be like, remember this? Remember Dad doing this? Remember having to go back? And I remember my son trying to go back in the house and run up the stairs while it's on fire.
He was trying to get something?
Yeah, he wanted to get his toys.
Wow.
My kids had so much stuff at that house that people thought I had a daycare.
Wow.
It's because there was so much stuff inside and outside.
And you said it took an hour, so was that just an hour to round everybody up into like?
It we didn't know while it was on fire in the beginning, because what had happened was something with the electrical wiring from my neighbor. She jimmy rigged it from our house to her house, and some sparks went off, and then it set the couch on my back patio on fire, and that's all that people seen. But it also set my roof on fire. Like while I was sitting there, like at first I had her get the kids away because I didn't want them to watch their house burn down. But I had to. I don't know why. I just felt like I had to. And I just sat there and just watched the roof fall in and everything. And then my neighbor, she's blaming my family. Because, I smoke weed, but she told me I was smoking weed on the back porch. And I set my own couch on fire. I ain't never had nothing like that going on. First of all, my couch is still my office.
So we have 2 fires. You're still in Pennsylvania. So finally, second fire, you decide, we out. Okay, so y'all.
I bought a camper, quit my job. She quit her job. Well, first we went into a shelter program. And that's actually what helped me as a comedian. Because at first I was just like doing videos, and I would get like a couple thousand views on TikTok or something like that. And I was always like, but I'm a stand-up comic. And the shelter program I was in, they were like, hey, we're having an event, and we were having a fundraiser. And we told them that we know a comedian. Would you be interested in doing comedy that night? And I'm going to warn you, it's going to be like seen across the world because our program is in almost every state. And people are going to be watching it. Are you okay with that? And it has to be clean comedy. I'm like, yeah, I've done that before.
You're like, I got this.
I had to gas it up. And I ended up, in my first performance on my mom's birthday, I got a standing ovation. It was crazy.
And this is while you were staying in the shelter?
While I was in the shelter.
Wow.
It was just before we decided to leave. Because in the shelter program, it was just like, we had to stay in a different church every night. Was this a shelter? Well, every week.
This was before you got to Arizona?
Before I got to Arizona.
Okay, so you guys ended up in a shelter. What was the environment like there?
It was churches, so we slept in churches. It was real weird. Or air mattresses. It was so uncomfortable. And then like half my jokes when I told the stand up was about to cook the food. It wasn't enough in season. Like, it was crazy.
How long were you guys?
We did that for, the program was only supposed to be 3 months, and we were in it for 6. And we just couldn't find nothing. At first, we found a bunch, but she didn't like the neighborhoods.
Gotcha.
I took her out of the hood, and she didn't want to have to go back. But I felt like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
And then by the time she wanted to, it was too late.
After you get accustomed to something else, your eyes are open and you can see like everything.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't like it too much. It's too quiet.
Oh, okay.
I don't. And then the neighbors told me we don't even lock our doors. I definitely ain't playing none of that. Yeah, they helped us a lot. They definitely. I wouldn't be able to talk right now. I don't think without them, because like I don't remember his last name, but the guy Matt, he talked to me a lot, and he got me to be able to open up and get stuff off my chest, because growing up I was always taught you don't do that. You just keep your mouth shut about everything. Yeah. Let it pertain to whatever situation going on, and then you give what you feel like you're supposed to, but that's about it.
We moved to Arizona. What was the transition like?
So after the show, they let me stay out that night, They raised a couple dollars. They felt good. They was hush hush, don't talk about it. But they let me stay away that night and go visit my family, even though they knew I probably would be doing something I'm not supposed to while in the program.
This is when you're in Arizona?
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, this is before. This is me leaving.
Oh, okay.
This is why we left. Okay. And then like a week later, my wife is going through something and she don't feel like going back that night. And she asked, could, like I'll pay for us to go to a hotel or something because she just don't feel like sleeping on the floor tonight. And they were like, no. You have to have more notice than that. And I was like, well, if she's saying she's having a panic attack and you're not even going to allow her to be late or to go somewhere else, I think we'd rather just say forget it. I've been needing a reason to leave anyway, so I think we're just going to leave and move somewhere else. Or, do you know where you're going? Not yet. And then I think I talked to her for like 5 minutes and we're like, let's go to Arizona and meet your dad. So I bought a camper from some guy on Facebook. I ain't legally own it. He gave me just this bill of sale. Ain't had no license plate or nothing. And I thought that was okay. So I got to Ohio. My car broke down. I forgot that in the shelter program, I had this beautiful Lincoln Navigator, fully loaded, that they wrecked. And then their insurance didn't want to cover all of it, so I had to buy a different truck, and that's the one that broke down on the way. Had to leave my camper in Ohio, was stuck there for 9 days, got a rental. I left Thanksgiving, and I didn't make it down to Arizona until a week before Christmas. Just the travel here was crazy.
It's the journey, yeah.
Every state, it was so different happening. But we met all kinds of people. Well, I talk to people. Yeah. I met people everywhere. I have friends in a lot of states now.
Got you. Hey, but meet different people. Was it people that were like helpful? Like
definitely. Like the first dude I met, some guy named, his name is Trip. That's his last name. But he helped me with my car when it had broke down, like how to change out the parts and stuff, because I really never knew how to do that. So he showed me, and then I met his dog, and he has a nice house up in Maine. And,
and what does your family feel about you leaving? Because did your mom come too?
No, but everybody's is trying to come out this way now because I'm here. Yeah. I'm like, my whole life I've been like the glue for my family.
Got you. What's the? Do you have siblings too?
Yeah.
Where you come in with the siblings?
I'm the oldest.
So.
Yeah, my mom had me at 14. We're all close. Our whole family. Most people say we're weird because they don't understand how we're close, and like they'll see us fight. But if you say something, it's up with you because I could talk to her like that, but you can't. You can't do it. That's dead.
Well, so you guys finally make it to Arizona. You meet her biological father.
Yep, and her grandma.
How was that?
It was okay. I'm like, you might watch this. It was okay. It definitely wasn't what he sold us. He sold us on a dream, you know what I mean? He was living this nice life. His mom stayed with him, but, everything's cool. She'll never really be there. And we get there. No, he got a spare room at his mom's house, and he didn't even tell her we was coming. So it was real awkward. And then I think a week before we got here, her boyfriend died. So it was weird, but super family oriented because she needed something. Yeah. And it's like we came right on time for her. And she's definitely awesome. I love her. She's everything she say she is and some more. But Dougie, he needs some work.
So you said she was adopted. Your wife was adopted, and so she found her biological father. She was seeking him, and he was like welcoming.
So finding him, first I asked her about her mom because she told me she knew who her birth mom was, but she didn't really know her. So I was like, well, maybe we should get to know her. And we started going around her, and then at that time, I stayed in a hotel. Not that I couldn't afford a place, my job, I worked with all people from out of town, and that's where they were. So I left home to move into a hotel and just be able to hang out with the guys all the time. Yeah. So she wanted different. And she was like, well, let's go stay with family to actually save money and be able to get a place. And we lost that contract. And then right before we left, we asked about her dad because her adopted mom told her that her husband was her real dad. He slept with her mom, and that's why they took her in and raised her.
Wait. So the mom she knows is her adopted mom. Was claiming
that her husband was cheated on her with her mom, and it was her biological father.
Oh, but this was not.
And she had thought this most of her life. And I was like, why not talk to the person who was in the room? Because you might be able to get better information. Because he died when she was like 3 or 4, something like that.
The person she thought was her
father, right. And I'm like, it's crazy that this man is being charged with this, and like, we don't even know. She's like, no, my mom said it, so I know. And then my one cousin told me that my mom said she slept with a guy who had a couple $. And I just told her to ask her. And she asked her, and she was like, no, I never was with him. That was my friend's dad. No, ew. I mean, not ew. May he rest in peace, but no. Yeah. Your dad's name is Doug. And she was like, he lives in Arizona, but she didn't really know how to get in contact with him. So I just went online. I searched guys in Arizona from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Then I searched his name and, what his full name might be. And he was like the second or third guy I found, but she didn't want to tell me. So she had me keep searching for the rest of the day. And then she was like, can you go back to like that second guy you showed me? I'm like, what? So yeah, you've been showed me him.
Oh, wow. So she was kind of like nervous about it.
Yeah, I don't know why. And when we messaged him, he said he knew about her. And he had seen her like graduate from kindergarten. He had seen her do something else. And he was like, I knew I was your dad, but I knew you didn't know about me. So I never said nothing. But your brother was right there.
So you guys move in with him, and to make a long story short, to become you still have a good relationship with them?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're all that's why I feel like I can talk stuff. I don't care. We family.
And so what is your family thinking? Like, where is your family in it?
I have a cousin and a grandfather that I'm not cool with. But me and my cousin, he is crazy. That's my uncle's son. He went to jail for getting into it with his wife, and his wife took everybody and moved to Arizona. So like we spent the last 15 years apart. So we had to like reconnect and get to know each other. But he came to Pennsylvania first.
So so we know that when you were in the shelter, so you got your first shot at comedy. Yeah. That was your first time doing stand-up?
That was the first time doing stand-up, like actual stand-up. Like I told jokes in front of crowds of people at jobs, and they would just like circle around me, and that's what made me want to do comedy. But this was my first time where somebody introduced me and said that like that's why I'm here.
What has it been a struggle has that journey?
I mean, only thing I think held me back a little is just like when I first got here, just trying to get adequated with the area, learn the people before I went on stage, because I know that different areas are a lot different. And then my cousin was always telling me, like, music wise, cause I also do music. He's like, they're different out here, and like the people in comedy, they're different out here. You might not be able to do the same thing you do in Pennsylvania. And I'm like, well, if I want to do it for real, I got to do it anywhere. So that don't scare me.
So who would you compare yourself to?
Nobody.
There's no comedian out, or not even a comedian that is long past, that you was like, yo.
So if I would be remotely like anybody, in my head, I guess I'd say Bernie Mac, but
because that's the goat right there.
But I a lot of times I got a sugarcoat thing, so I don't feel like I get to release my inner Bernie.
Why are you sugarcoating?
Because I don't know. I be trying to control my brand, and I want to become a family brand because I want to be able to do it in churches. Something I got cooking up is called Grandma Baby's God's Child, and it's just a series of me performing comedy in churches. So I'm just trying to let them be able to see, like, especially with these next shows I have, just let them be able to see that I can do clean cut comedy, because I wasn't able to get the tape from my first one. So everybody was stuck watching.
Gotcha. So you will be burning without the vulgarity.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think I want to actually bring it out in my next show I got coming up. I had a show on the 17th.
Where's your show at?
Desert Ridge.
So what's the downside? That we know what the positive is of being a comedian, or what it can be. What's the downside that people don't see?
Oh my goodness, trying to be sociable with other comics. A lot of people who get into comedy are people who just want to be able to say weird stuff in front of crowds. And I'm not, I love people, but you can't be too weird and then we still have a conversation. After a while, I gotta get away from you.
You know, they say most comics are depressed. George Jefferson, they say, from the Jeffersons, was total opposite. He was like a recluse in real life. Yeah, he was a recluse.
But yeah, on screen you play a character.
Mm-hmm. So, what is your why for being a comedian?
So like I'm just right now. That's what I am. So like I've been different things in phases. I was an artist for a while, and I accomplished a lot of great feats, and now I'm trying to do it in comedy. I just want to be able to have a lot of stuff surrounding when I write my movies. I write a lot of scripts, and I've been able to improve them off of trying different things. Mm-hmm. When I was doing music, I ended up like I did when Obama was doing his first run for president. I performed at the schools before he was coming on.
Beautiful. This is comedy?
No, this is music. And so like I'm just trying to get those same things going in comedy right now. And I'm actually doing shows. Like this is awesome. This is everything I always wanted.
So you're a performer, art, filmmaker,
I'm everything.
Actor.
Everything.
Got you.
I want to be the biggest entertainer of my generation, our generation.
You still ain't said what your why is, though.
I don't.
What?
Before I say why is for my kids. I did every job too.
So if you didn't have children, would you still be doing this? Mm-hmm. So you're doing it to provide.
Yeah, I think I'd still be just in the streets if I didn't have kids. So like I started acting in like 3rd grade, something like that. I started doing plays. Then I started writing music for like different things in school.
Gotcha. Did
commercials, and yeah, I got a new commercial just got out for a college program. So one of my friends was telling me he wanted 13 kids. And I was like, dang, that's a lot of kids, bro. And I'm like, I don't know. I was thinking like maybe like 2 boys, 2 girls, and I'll be all right. But he was like 13, and I'm like, dang, bro, like we 14. So like I was like, you tripping. He was like, and that's just before he hit 30. Then he wanted to have a second set. And I was just like, okay. And I was like, you know what? I want a big family too. When I thought I was going to have kids someday, I was like, okay, now I want to try different jobs. Mm-hmm. Because I didn't have a dad. Mm-hmm. So I felt like nobody showed me, and like even my cousins, uncle, nobody showed me what I needed out of life. And I wanted to be able to show whoever my kids would be something. So I tried almost every job there was, and I realized in my family, a lot of people don't like people being over them. So I was like, I got to teach you how to become business owners instead of being under someone and having someone tell you what to do. And that's what also I do. Like outside of comedy, I own 2 businesses, right now. And I'm doing any and everything possible to make sure that they have any and every opportunity there can be.
That grew up without a father. What was that like for you?
Confusing a lot. Cause like, I can't say I didn't notice. I noticed. Because if you do like things like acting early on, they expect your parents to come to these things. And they would like a lot of times ask for my dad. And not only would I not have my dad show up, I didn't have a cousin, an uncle, nobody showed up. It was just my mom. And then when I would be hurt and go back to my mom would be like, I'm your daddy. My mom taught me how to fight. My mom taught me how to trap. My mom taught me how to tote iron. My mom, she became everything for me. And I think that's where I learned it from.
And a mom really be your daddy?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna miss a lot though, because there's certain social cues that come along with being a man that a woman just will never come into contact with. Like, I talk to a lot of brothers, and they all say the same thing happened to them. A random conversation when you go to the bathroom. A lot of women I talk to, random women don't come up and just give you advice. But as a man, a dude will randomly come up to you and try to give you advice, give you a random thing to think about today. When I went to the bathroom before coming in here, some dude was telling me about the homeless population and what he tries to do for the area, just because. And that's an experience that only men seem to get. And without having a dad to talk to you about it, when that happens to you for the first time, it's weird. I try to be any and everything. I'm the sensitive dad. I'm the hard dad. And my wife, she was the only kid they had in that house, so she don't really know what it's like for a family to act the way they do. Like, my kids, they beat on each other. My sons, my youngest daughter, she thinks she one of them. You know what I mean? And she's not used to seeing kids fight at all. I said, that's because you didn't get to go to your cousin's house or nieces and nephew's house. So you don't understand, but this is just what kids do. I ran my sister head through a wall one time, and she still called me for advice. So my end goal is just to be able to create just a full-on production house for my city. I know right now I'm not there, but I love to be able to learn a lot more. Nobody who's ever done anything came back. And if they did, they came back to do an event. They didn't come back to change the nature of our environment. Harrisburg is one of the craziest places you can live in this country. I've lived in a lot of different states, and I hear stories, I see movies. None of these places got nothing on where I'm from.
When you say crazy, what do you mean?
Like how people talk about murder and stuff like that. I'm like you can't just walk the streets like how I walk here. Especially at certain times of the day.
Oh, really?
And you're not from there? Something gonna happen to you. I remember walking to the store just through the project, walking to the store in the middle of the night and having 15 guns on me. And wasn't nobody with a gun pointed at me over the age of 12.
What's the intention? To rob you or just...
Yeah. But I knew the one's big brother, and they were like, oh, that's cute. I was like, man.
Wow. And you said this is, what's the name of the city?
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
After you get your family settled, what's your next step?
Make sure I don't die with it. Especially once I hit millions, which I know is coming. I want to make sure I keep teaching my kids what I've been teaching them thus far, and that's not to hold so much value in money or possession, because there's never a time when you can't go make money. I traveled across the freaking country, and it wasn't that hard to get on our feet. I plan to, after doing a couple shows here, go somewhere else, because I just want to be able to, mingle around the entire country. This is my first time coming on the West. I did everything on the East. I got to see what all of this is like.
So what's your Instagram? How do people follow you and get in touch with you?
Everything Q the Comedian, QUE.
Gotcha.